Hi, how are you? It's Blue Monday today, so I'm going to do a bright blue makeup look. Now, before I begin this, I just want to give you the heads up. If you're thinking of doing something bright like this, get all of your brushes washed first, because when you're going in with really bright colours, if anything goes wrong or you panic, the cleanest way to sort it out quickly is with a clean brush. And if you've got a load of brushes that have got, you know, a bit of last week's brown, a bit of today's grey, it's just not going to work. So clean brushes, ready to go. I'm going to start with a black eyeliner in the waterline. This is the Peaches liner in Cleopatra. Because I'm going for such bright colours everywhere else, I just think this will all feel within my comfort zone if, you know, some of the basics like lashes and liner are a nice clean black. There we go. Now, from where I did my mascara, I've got a few little lines and things on the lash line. I'm not terribly fussed about that. The one thing I am going to do, let me grab a brush before I begin, is I put some primer on a moment ago. I'm just going to take a translucent powder and check that everything is nice and powdered, ready for me to start blending, because I'm going to build this kind of layer by layer. So the first thing I'm going to take is a large blending brush, excuse me, and I'm going to take Peaches Pigment in Hocus Pocus. Now this is a kind of soft violety blue, and I'm starting with this. Hang on, let me roll my sleeves up so I don't get anything on my jumper. I'm going to start with this all the way through the socket and kind of up into that brow. But for now, I'm just going to start with a nice soft wash. And essentially, I'm going to merge techniques from a few videos recently. So I'm going to go for this kind of brushed near the brow look. I'm going to use a spotlight technique to make the lid pop. I'm just going to go to town with a few colours because we're in lockdown. Why not? So this would be a prime example of a time when you might look and think, what have I done? Not to worry. I'm just going to take a clean brush. Make sure I'm happy with these ends. What the clean brush means as well is sometimes, a bit like now, you've got more than enough product in the area. You just need it to sit in the right places. So that now is exactly the kind of thing I was going for. And you'll notice I keep tapping the product on the back of my hand so that I don't have any splodges or anything on my face. I can build it bit by bit, and I've got so much more control than if I'd gone in with loads of makeup and I had to try and move it around when it was already on the eyelid. Okay, I'm happy with that so far. The next thing I'm going to do is take a pencil brush and I'm going to jump up to a deeper shade of blue. This one is Sapphire. And what I'm going to do with a pencil brush is trace this just kind of above the natural crease of my eye. And then I'm going to use a fluffy brush. Look how vivid that is. Use a fluffy brush afterwards to soften this out. So I'm not going to worry about that drop down. I can sort that afterwards. Back in with the same blending brush. And I'm just going to spread this. Not as high as the initial blue. Almost down onto the lid. Now, we've got our lighter shade of blue above. Where is our lighter shade of blue? It's down here. We've got our deeper shade of blue in the socket. I'm just going to retrace that lighter shade of blue to make sure that it's still there. I now want to start getting darker the further down I go. I am going to start with a little detail brush. I'm going back in with that NYX palette from the other day, the Modern Dreamer. I'm going to take, that kind of dusky, purpley pinky. And I'm going to press this. Can you see what I'm doing there? Into these inner corners. And just start to build this spotlight technique. And then just to mix things up, I'm going to take the royal blue underneath that lash line. This is the Sapphire. Look how rich that is. However, it's also a bit frightening that it's so rich because I don't want it to spill. So before I go anywhere, I'm making sure that that is packed onto the brush. And then, let's see. Okay, now I've got a few different blues. I've got a few nice bits of light and dark. I'm going to just, let me see what will be the best way to do this. Do you know what, actually? I'm going to pack onto the lids this really dark blue. Just stay with me, because I'm going to use a really light reflecting pigment, like a glittery colour, and that is actually going to show up better on a dark base. So this blue is going all over the centre of that lid, because the contrast of a light glitter on top of that will give me this spotlight finish. And again, I'm going to keep going in with my clean brushes to just make sure all of these joins are feeling nice. We're starting to reach a point where all of the blues are talking to each other, which is great, but I don't want them to each lose their wow. So let me see, actually, I haven't got a black shadow, I've got a black liner. I am going to take the same Black Peaches liner and go straight into those inner corners and make sure that we've got a nice jet black moment in there. Not jet black, but darker blue. And I'm going to massage on top of that, massage, that same darker blue that we put there to begin with. Okay, now this will be the nice bit. I'm going to take Peaches Pigment in Mermaze, press it right in the centre of those lids. How incredible is that? Okay, and then I wonder if a blue liner will work. Let's just see. I'm going to go in with a NYX Vivid Bright in Vivid Sapphire. Oh, and just see what that's going to look like on top of all of this. It's not actually that noticeable because there's so much blue going on. But, you know, it's Blue Monday, so it's worth having a bit of fun, isn't it? There we go. Okay, now I think the best thing to do to make this really pop and look really lovely is to load up the mascara. Oh, And one thing I'm going to do, which I'm just looking at thinking it will make all the difference, I'm going to take a little touch of that Mermaze glitter. That's from Peaches as well, by the way. Didn't show you that. Looks white in the jar, but then when you put it on that darker colour, that really pops. Whereas that, we wouldn't have seen that half as brightly if I put that on a clean lid. I'm just going to put a touch of it underneath so that you've got that strip of light through the centre at the top and the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to go in with loads of Superhero mascara. Now, I already had makeup on because I'd done a video. But ideally, you'd want to start from fresh. Okay, now, what has absolutely happened is I've got so much mess all over my face. The first thing I'm going to do you know what actually? The first thing I'm going to do is take a clean brush and actually sweep as much of it as I can. And it's obviously all gone into my base. I've got nothing to clean my skin to hand. It's all over there. I'm going to show you a little hack using the same base in the palm of my hand. And I'm going to use a smaller brush. This is a Peaches PC 02. I'm just going to go on top of it. And that is actually completely tidied up. And do you know something? I mean, you really do have to be careful. And I've used blues there, which can instantly make you look quite, you know, it can mix with your foundation and look quite grey. However, sometimes, depending on what kind of spill you've got, if you were to remove your makeup and then try and resolve it that way, you've sometimes lost the even cover of the whole base. There you go, there's your Blue Monday makeup. I hope you enjoyed. If there's any particular colours or tips or techniques you want to go through, let me know in the comments and I'll work through them. I'll talk to you soon.